Good evening once again, and you are welcome to Trading Issues with the Guru. I'm cross-checking the time to caution myself that 3 minutes is too late. It shouldn't be so. Again, my apology. Let's run today. I can show you today, by the grace of God, we are not staying up to 30 minutes. It should be less than 30 minutes, but I will never take us beyond 30 minutes. Maximum should be 30 minutes, meaning about 27 minutes or so to 9, we should have rounded up. Let's go. If you look, this is Trading Issues with the Guru that comes up every Monday, 8 p.m., every Wednesday, 8 p.m., every Friday, 8 p.m. And if you look at the caption, the topic we're about to look at today, it has been there on the board. I've put it there. It says payment of outstanding 2024 capital projects begins. Payment of outstanding 2024 capital project commences. This is not from the grapevine. The Presidency made this statement. Sunday, Dari, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, special advisor on media and public communication, to the Nigerians this. Let me repeat it again for sake of emphasis. 2024 capital projects, the payment of 2024 capital projects just begins. What that means is that the budget for 2024 that capitalized and identified these projects, which was passed by the National Assembly, and the president assented to it, then it became law, did not pay for most capital projects across ministries, across departments, across agencies. And 2025 budget came in. I wouldn't know when it comes to budgeting things. I am not so much a specialist. But I would not know whether there was a rollover or there was no rollover. But 2025 budget came. The National Assembly scrutinized it, moved to the president, and the president accepted by putting his signature. That homologous budget of 2025 was spent without paying for capital projects that were not paid for in 2024. It means, therefore, some capital projects of 2025 were also not paid for. But ordinarily, one would have expected that since there was either miscalculation or misappropriation or whatever that made the capital project that were implemented, that were carried out in 2024 impossible. When 2025 budget came, one would have expected, of course, I don't know whether there's anything like rollover in the budget cycle, I don't know. But expectedly, one would have either thorough economic planning regulations or even human sympathy, believed that those people who implemented capital projects in 2024 that were not paid ought to have been taken care of. Now, 2025 came, gone, without those capital projects that were executed by contractors in 2024 was not paid for. But early in the year 2025, we were told that the federal government had met its targeted revenue of that year. I think that was September or so. If the targeted revenue was met, meaning financing those capital projects, shouldn't have been the problem. Maybe foreign revenue will be what we'll be waiting for. And again, another thing that I may not understand, because I never paraded myself as having monopoly of knowledge or of everything. No. Borrowing continued. Those money borrowed, and in most cases, we are being told they are targeting towards capital projects, so that we will not finance only consumption, leaving behind production. This is it. Then, what Sunday Dare, the special advisor to the president on media and public communication, just told us is that all those 2024 will be paid before or by 31st of March. You know, February is ending. We are entering to March a few days from here. It will be paid. Then inevitably, this must throw up some questions, deep questions. The contractors that were awarded these contracts based on the terms and contract of the letters of award, which they back themselves with, they would approach a bank to go and borrow money to execute those contracts. Let me add this before we move on. I think Nigeria is the only country I know, because each time I travel out of Nigeria, I do ask questions. And when I return back, I have never hesitated in my life one day, not putting those valuable answers that I got at the public domain. Because for Nigeria to be great, it's the responsibility of all of us. Nobody should say it's only the president. No. Because sometimes what we individually contribute to the chaos on the land cannot be described. Nigeria is the only country I know that when you secure government contract with all the award letters of the contract written, sealed, stamped, which themselves become legal paper. Nigeria is the only country I know that when you approach the bank to secure money to do those contracts, that contract agreement signed by the government with your company is not enough for the bank to release the money. The bank must look for security. You will be asked to bring security. And if the security is a house, the first value sales of the house will be ×3 of the finances you are looking for to execute your contract. It is only in Nigeria that those papers, those agreement contracts that the government signed with you are not acceptable to back up financing any project by any bank. But in other parts of the world, it is that your letter of award that you need to approach a bank to finance the project for you, because that letter is as valid as what you can talk about. Okay, let me welcome a few people who have just come in. You are welcome. You are welcome, the Guru. I welcome you too for coming in. Another Facebook user says, good evening, the Global Guru. Welcome on board, sir. I thank you for following, for being here with me. Please, let the following be massive. Then drop your comment. We will discuss them as we flow. So, but other countries of the world, I think I said that letter of award, contract signed by the government with your company is all they need to finance. Because they are very, very sure this is exclusively signed, the government will pay. But with what we heard today now, what we are hearing now, that is why many contractors have lost their properties because they will approach the bank. And when it comes to financing of contracts, the banks can be merciless in the percentage of interest, which shall not be discussed on the table, which shall be discussed under the table. Now, before we go ahead, we should not forget that this month, early this month, budget defense, ministry, agencies, departments commenced at the National Assembly. One of the most pitiable presentation made by a reputable and distinguished Nigerian, very, very respected across the globe, was the statement made by Professor Patti, the Honorable Minister of Federal Ministry of Health. Let us listen to what he said in the budget defense. He said, capital projects captured in his ministry in 2025 was total of 218 billion. You know what Ministry of Health is? The hospitals are to be attended to, even if new ones are not being built. The ones that are there should be functioning. The X-ray should work. All equipment, either in the oncology department, either psychiatric department, either gynecologist department. I'm just mentioning it because I'm not in the medical field. All the equipment there should function. So in 2025, it is Professor Muhammad Patti that made this statement public at the National Assembly. He was before the Senate. Then he said, of the 280 billion budgeted, only 36 million was released throughout the year. 2025 is come and gone. 280 billion budgeted, but only 36 million, which becomes 0.01. That was made public. It was because of this that one of the senators asked the question, where is the money there for? Where are all this money? Where are they? That's number one. The Honorable Minister of Works, Senator Dave, my made a statement also narrating the situation he faced in his Ministry of Works. By the time we listened to having listened to Professor Muhammad Pati, then we want to conclude that if this thing could happen to this most viable minister, a minister is a minister, I'm not undermining the status of any minister, but in George Orwell's Animal Farm, some animals not necessarily grow more than others. And if you go to, if you look at the kingdom of monkeys, they have grades. Or if you go to the store to buy shoe, any shoe shop, there are different sizes. You can see size 32, see size 26. So all ministers are ministers. So. But prominent ministers like this, if this is what they face, I wonder therefore, if other ministers that are not as prominent as this may be facing worse things. Because Senator Dave Mahi, the Minister of Works, revealed at the National Assembly under the defense of the 2026 budget that most of the money is not being released for him to carry out execution of all these road contracts that are here and there cut across the whole country. Calabar, Lagos, Calabar, highway, or what you call it, Ijaniki, or Lagos, Sokoto, highway, Abuja, this and all those. And that he specifically made allegation against somebody, but he put it very, very politely. He said the Minister of Finance is not releasing this money. And that the president knows about it. I think he said either the president commit a committee to be established to look why is the minister not releasing the money. One, it can be argued that either the money is not there, because budget is not always accumulated money that have been bonded somewhere. We have already know. You talk of figures, then you look at your income. But a good budget planner must therefore look at the totality of your budget, of your expenses. Then you come to reality in view of what you expected as revenue to say, okay. That is why sometimes, excuse me, please. Sometimes people say that, your benchmark of oil, crude that is coming, isn't it too high? Because once there's volatility in one part of the world that has anything to do with oil, the price will crash. These are the things taken into consideration. But by the time that the National Assembly finishes with budget and move it to the president, what the president signs to become law is as good as reality of what we have on the ground. And it is for that reason that sometimes you hear the executive saying, we will borrow social amount to finance the deficit on the budget, meaning they would have known that from the oil sector, social amount of money will come through NNPC. From the maritime industry, custom will bring so. Eternally generated revenue will bring this, and this will bring this. What we have deficit will be only 200 naira, and that 200 naira, we either borrow it either internationally or locally. But in a situation where 218 was budgeted, signed, became law, and only 36 million out of 218 billion, that must be very, very one of the wonders of the modern world. So these are the issues. These two gentlemen made the confession, or call it allegation, or call it revelation, or call it reportage at the National Assembly, which is now forcing the question, then what is happening to the money? Could the Minister of Finance on his own sit on all this money? Where will he cut it to? And how will he cut it away from the Federation account? And which route will he pass it through? I don't have answers for those questions. But your guess may be just as good as mine. So what is happening to our money? Where are the money? As I move towards the end of this discussion, let us look at it again. A special advisor of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Sunday Dare, was the one who told us today that, no, yesterday, was it yesterday or Friday, that the capital projects of 2024 had not been paid, and that payment of that is starting now, and that even all the ministry, all the agencies, all the parastatals, all the whatever you have it, had been asked to submit their cash need for the payment. That the payment will be concluded before or by 31st of March. Today is 23rd. About 6 more days. Is it up to 6 more days or 5 days remaining for the month? If you add the 5 days to 31, that will be 36 days that this will be settled. I don't have that. It will be paid. But let us look the evil it would have created. I return back to the beginning. The contractor that is celebrating award of contract in billions for him have good reasons to celebrate. He goes to the bank now to seek for financing backing. He got it after some arrangement. Don't forget, the banker equally is, the banker being in Nigeria is aware that this money might not be paid as stipulated or as scheduled, which makes the interest rate higher, plus the deposit of whatever to stand as security that the contractor will drop down. That's number one. Number two, the contractor who is a perpetual contractor or a living contractor or a practicing contractor that has already been getting contracts from the government is very much aware of this hiccup. Therefore, could this expectation affect the price being negotiated on the contract? Could it be the reason why contracts that in other time wouldn't have gone beyond, say, 10 naira per loaf of bread can now be awarded at 20,000 naira per loaf of bread? We know that those do happen in Nigeria. Assuming I have the time, I'm going to quickly mention two. I spoke about it how many years ago? Perimeter fence, 30-kilometer perimeter fence in University of Maiduguri, Borno State, was awarded at the cost of 2 billion naira per kilometer. Perimeter fence, 2 billion. And those who evaluated the contract then, when it was awarded, told us that if the same contract is to be, if the same work is to be executed in the Niger Delta, and Bayelsa was taken as a typical example, because it's a riverine, you have to fortify and fortify with a lot of iron rods and co, which is not too necessary, which is not needed in the hard and highland of Maiduguri. That the contract will cost, as of that year, not to do, will cost 31 million naira. No. 31 million naira per kilometer. It was that same thing that was awarded in Maiduguri for in Maiduguri University at 2 billion naira per. But when you evaluate this, you will understand the other two now. That if, for example, if there's a failure of payment, the excess that is loaded will take care of that. Is that not corruption? It's a question I ask you. I don't have the answer. That's why I ask you, my followers. Good evening, the guru. Why can't INEC criminalize or rejected any mutilated? Anyway, today I am not talking about that INEC, but I will put you in mind. I will answer to you this Wednesday when we come on air by 8 o'clock. Trending Matters with the Guru. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate you and your question. That is number one. Number two, and this is very, very, very hard. For example, Dave Umahi had told you that the cost of this Lagos-Calabar coastal route is 7 billion naira per kilometer. Of course, there has not been a certified civil engineer or anything that come to tell us that no, that is not the cost. By evaluation, it should be this. And the person will analyze it. Between this area to this area is swampy, between this area to this area, because the cost of doing running contract cannot be static anyway. But every Nigerian shouted, wow, 7 billion naira per kilometer. Don't you think inability of government to pay the money, which was budgeted, which expectedly should have been taken care of and arranged, will be reason for this? Well, I want to keep my promise of not taking us too far. Let us look at the thing. This is the news today. And I've quoted what Professor Muhammad Patti, the Honorable Minister of Health, said that the capital budget in 2025 budget to his ministry was 218 billion. Out of the 218 billion, as of 31st of December 2025, only 36 million was released. And mathematically speaking, that is 0.01%. And people will be expecting functional hospitals. The answer is yes. The Guru salutes you. Today, the knowledge drop box is not coming because I'm so much engaged. But let me thank all those who contributed, all those that followed. I appreciate you. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we are on Instagram. I keep saying tomorrow, I will not say it again until when you suddenly see the TikTok added to this platform. Let me read fully the comments of this follower. Good evening, the Guru. Why can't INEC criminalize or rejected any mutilated results or results with TPEX? D is no, okay, maybe wanted to say there is no institution, either public or private, that will accept mutilated CV for employment. Why is one finding it difficult to criminalize this? I think I understand what my brother is trying to say. Like as I said, I will answer to your question on Wednesday by the grace of God. Then let me see this and bring it up. The Guru, the banks don't have confidence in borrowing the contractors' money because if they do, anything can happen. Okay, thank you very much. You said good evening. I salute you. They may have used our money to play politics. Thank you for your opinion. And okay, you welcome me. I want to welcome you too. Good sir, thank God I am present today. Thank you for being with us. We thank God for that. We thank God for that. Let me read just one more before I go off. This is good evening. This is they may have used our money for election. Okay, Osamigo, Fredo, God bless you. So this is the end of it. I think we got the topic. Tomorrow, Wednesday is another day. Please keep a date with the guru, and we shall not disappoint. And it shall always be as brief as this, because now we spent exactly 30 minutes. But I ended the topic about 2 minutes ago. So until Wednesday again, keep yourself out of trouble as the guru sensor. Bye bye.